Hi everyone, this is Sig Suarez and welcome to another episode of Watch Manila. Today we have a special treat as we're going to review the Rolex Oyster Perpetual 36mm Turquoise Blue, or as they call, the Tiffany Rolex 36OP. So before we go any further, I would like to thank the Eastime Watch Group for allowing me to review this watch. It is the watch arm of SE Jeweler. So SE Jeweler, you can follow them on Instagram at SE_Jeweler, and Eastime Watch Group, you can follow them at Eastime Watch Group on Instagram. The team at Eastime Watch Group can help you source a watch, and you can also consign your watch for them to sell. Now, let's go with the unboxing of this beautiful timepiece first. Here you get to see the familiar Rolex box. Then when you open it up, you're gonna see that beautiful Rolex Oyster Perpetual with that turquoise dial. This is the COSC tag which comes with every Rolex watch. Next, we have the international guarantee card, which would show the reference number and the date of purchase of the piece. And on the other side, you're gonna have the worldwide service, which shows everything you need to service the watch. You're also gonna get a booklet on the Oyster Perpetual. So now there's a question on where the term Oyster Perpetual comes from. Oyster Perpetual comes from two innovations of Rolex. The Oyster, which pertains to the Oyster case. Back in the 20s, they patented this Oyster case, which essentially meant waterproof, elements proof, everything proof, so the dust, all the other particles cannot get in due to the tightness of the seal and the other mechanisms involved. And Perpetual comes in around 1930s when Rolex patented the Perpetual movement, wherein that rotor at the back of each watch, the movement, spins and spins and spins and creates that energy for the power reserve to keep the watch moving continuously. And this one, actually, because of the movement, it spins and it spins, it gives us continuous power. Hence we have Oyster for the case and Perpetual for the movement, and this is the foundation of the modern Rolex watch. Quickly onto the features. This one is a reference 126000 36mm, introduced in 2020 with the caliber 3230, which gives you a 70-hour power reserve. This watch is as solid as any other Rolex. So most of you guys know how much I love my Rolex Explorers, and this one is actually very similar to the Rolex Explorer. If you take a look at it, it also measures 36mm case size, and the way it's built, you can feel the Rolex solidity on this one. It's really, really solid. It's just amazing how it's just amazing how strongly it's built. So take a look at it. What a beautiful watch. And as with other Rolex models, this one also has the Easy Link, which allows you to expand this one and to extend the bracelet to a few more millimeters. Now let's go to the biggest selling point of this particular watch. This is the turquoise blue, as I mentioned. If you take a look at it, it's very beautiful. It came out almost the same time when Tiffany had its boom. Remember back in 2021, Patek Philippe and Tiffany released this collaboration of the 5711 with a Tiffany dial. 170 pieces. This one is not limited to 170 pieces, but availability in the Rolex store sure feels like it's also limited, but it is not limited. It's just really difficult to find, difficult to get, and we're fortunate to be reviewing one right now. So this one is not actually Tiffany blue, but if you take a look at it, it is very close to the Tiffany blue color. And I really like it. Initially, I wasn't a fan of these exploding Rolex colors. Remember when they came out with the new OP, they came out with the coral red, the yellow, the green, and of course the turquoise. And I found them initially a little too loud, but looking at it now, they're actually pretty good. When you look at these watches in person, the coral red, the yellow, and all the other colors, the pink one, they're not harsh to the eyes. They give you that statement, but at the same time, they're not as loud as you would imagine. The red one is, I think that's the loudest for the entire line, but if you take a look at those, they're still classy. Rolex found a way to make these colors still classy on a watch. And now, whenever I see this watch, I actually want to get one myself. The turquoise blue for me is just perfect. The color is pretty well when you wear it on the wrist and when you see it in person. So I love it. I love the color. It's just really great. Now, for the other aspects of this watch, let's go through them quickly because I've discussed this in my other reviews. So for this watch, it actually feels solid, doesn't feel intrusive to the wrist. You can do all of your work with this one. You can carry the groceries, you can write things, you can type on your laptop, you can play the musical instruments. Basically, you can go on with your day wearing this one and it's just right there on your wrist. Not too intrusive, perfect when you need to see the time. The time is also legible. As with the newer Rolex watches, I know they've put in some anti-reflective coating somewhere there because it's much clearer than my older models. So if you take a look at it from this side, this angle, you get better viewing on the watches. So this one is no exception. It's very clean, easy to look at when you need the time. The thing which I like most about this watch, outside of that turquoise color, is that it's very plain and legible. I love my Rolex Explorers because they're plain and very legible, and this one is the same. It is plain, very legible, and that pop of turquoise actually makes it even nicer to look at than the Rolex Explorers. The thing which I'm worried most about this one is that because of its bold color, it might not stand the test of time. In a few years, I might look at it and it might not look as nice to my eyes as how it looks today. But then again, it looks timeless as of today. The way I look at it, it might be just as nice 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now. But who knows? The colors change, the trends move. Sometimes the colors which look pleasing today would not be pleasing 20 years from now. Who knows? But this one, they've actually nailed that beautiful dial here. It's just a matter of whether that color will be nice to the eyes in a few years or not. Now, as to the durability of the watch, Rolex watches are really durable. Like, they stand the test of time. I've handled watches, Rolex watches, which date back to the 1920s, the Rolex Oyster. So, they still work, by the way. And they're just really built differently. So, this watch, whoever it will go to, will last definitely 50, 70, or even more than 100 years if properly cared for. So you just have no problem with Rolex watches. They keep going and going and going, and these watches are really respected all over. A person can spot a Rolex from a very long distance. So this watch, you're really safe in terms of how durable it will be. The question is, who should buy this watch? There are two buyers of this watch who I can think of. The first one are the real collectors. People who do not sell the watches. People who have respect for the Rolex quality and craftsmanship. The second one are people who are trendy. Those who are not afraid to put on this fashion statement. Those who are not afraid to be different, to stand out. A lot of the people are playing it safe. White dial, black dial, blue dial. But this one is for those who dare. This one is for those who are bold enough to show and to display something which is unique for most other people. Wrapping up, I would just like to say that this is a spectacular piece. Initially, I thought it was very much hype, but when I saw the watch in person, when I got to handle it, when I got to feel it and wear it personally, it just really turned me around. Initially, I didn't want this piece because everyone was going after this piece just for the hype and just to maybe flip the watch. But when I saw it in person, I just realized that it's really different and it has its own character. I'm just speechless at how nice this watch is. The dial is perfectly made. In fact, it's really so nice that I'm actually putting myself on the list for this one. I know it will be difficult and it will be a long road, but I will put myself on the list because this one is just breathtaking. This watch is just something else. I didn't realize that I would love this watch as much as my other pieces. Thank you for watching. I hope you liked this video. If you haven't already, please follow us on Instagram at watch_MNL and also subscribe to our YouTube channel, Watch Manila. This has been Sig Suarez and please continue to join me watch the watches.